Do you see anything?
Yes.
Do you hear anything?
Of course.
Do you feel anything?
No, nothing at all.
What if I told you now that it's possible?
Okay, guys, so here we go. We are with Xavier from Actronika. We're going to be talking about Skinetic. Xavier, how are you doing today, my friend?
Very good, very good. And you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us all the way from France. We really appreciate it. Let's talk a little about the Skinetic Vest. This is something that I got a chance to take a look at GDC, and I was really impressed with it to the point where I kind of started to follow up with you guys, and I was really interested. I wanted to know more, and I said, you know, the only way to really do this is if we get you guys in here to talk about it. And you were really kind enough to give us some time on a Sunday to come talk to us about this. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, no worries. Well, whatever you want to ask, I will be there to answer them and give as much as precision as needed.
Let's talk a little bit about you, Xavier. How long have you been with Actronika, and what exactly do you do there?
So I joined Actronika like a little bit more than 1 year ago, something like 1 year and a half. Before that, I was doing a PhD in VR and haptic, so I stayed basically in the same area. And at Actronika, I'm working on how to spatialize haptic effect on the vest. So basically here we have a vest which has 20 actuators like those, and how to what I'm trying to do is how to spatialize an effect across the vest for the effect to be like to be felt like smooth.
So you guys are in Kickstarter. So you guys are you started your Kickstarter on March 22nd. As of today, which is Sunday the 3rd, you've got about 17 days left on your Kickstarter. And you know, I would recommend people go check it out and go do a little bit of research and take a look at the Skinetic Vest. It's extremely interesting, and yeah, I mean, you have some different packages and programs that everybody should take a look at. But let's talk a little bit about haptics. And I just want to say that we are big believers in haptics. It's not a cheap way to get into VR, but if you can do it, it's a different level of immersion, right, Todd?
Yeah, like to take you to that next level of immersive VR action, whether it's in an experience or in a game, either one really. To have a haptic, any piece of equipment, not just the controllers that vibrate or the face that might vibrate, you know, if you have other haptic accessories, but to have full body haptics is amazing.
Yeah,
Next level.
And I think you guys are taking it to the next level because it's a little bit different than what the haptics that I have experienced so far, or Todd has experienced so far, and that's what we'll touch on in a little bit. Is the different experience that I had at GDC with it, and what kind of like really brought me to the point where I really wanted to get more information and hear more about what you guys are doing. Let's just talk a little bit about the vest itself real quick. So this is it's a gender neutral vest, so it's not like you have to go buy a men's or a women's. It's one size fits all. It's easy to put on. I saw several different size people wearing it while I was there demoing it. To a smaller woman was wearing it, to a larger man. Myself, I'm 6'4". I had no problem putting this on.
Adjust the vest on three different levels. So yeah, you have six points across the vest, 3 on each side. The thing is, you also have some other larger, I don't know how to say, and in general, there isn't much issue with whenever someone tries to wear it. At least we never had anyone who couldn't fit in the vest. What I can tell more is that the design of the vest has been done with atelier. I don't know how the word in English. I'm sorry. Basically, it's some people which specialize in how to build costumes for theater or any other kind of events. So they have very high design skills, and so they help us
cool.
to make the design of the vest. And moreover, there's an additional how can I say, it's not just how to make the vest fit on anybody. There is an additional component that we have to take into account is the propagation of the vibrations. Basically, if you use something which is too stiff, what might happen is that the propagation goes way too far. Whenever you have an actuator vibrate, you will feel it diffuse in a very large area. And whenever, if you have something which is too soft, you will have like the opposite. So we need to find some kind of in-between which allows to have a good propagation of the vibration from the actuator to the user, and not just within the vest. And also to make sure that it doesn't feel like you just have several parts buzzing, but that you have like some sensation which is continuous across the body.
Yeah, this is something that I thought was really cool to show too, because again, I've tried out several haptic suits, all different kinds, and what I felt differently from this one, it wasn't just a buzzing, so it wasn't just a rumble. You know what I mean? It wasn't one spot rumble. That's it. You felt what you're talking about. There was a spreading of, you know what I mean? It was a very controlled feeling that actually moved around the suit, and you could get different feelings from each one. Where with certain, other haptic vests, a lot of times it's just a basic rumble. You're just getting that one rumble in one spot.
Yeah.
Here, you could get different feeling, and with the demo, it was really amazing with the different types of things that you did inside the demo, like the raindrops, and there was just different things that they did in there that I thought was really cool. And I could see where if this is not fitted on you properly, where those things wouldn't happen. So that's great that you have all these points to fit it to you to make sure it's going to give you the best experience for whatever body type you have.
Putting a design like you say, a costume designer into the mix was a pretty smart move. Like a lot of companies in accessories think that they know what they're doing because they're gamers or they're developers, but to bring in someone from that far distant genre, if you want to call it, or a different design element, is just a very smart idea.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, I mean, haptic and VR is also like two domain where a lot of technical aspects from very different domain are brought into together to build something. You have like math, physics, you have psychology, you have like really a lot of skills required to build interesting experience from the hardware, the software, the how people will actually feel the overall interaction. So I mean, it's, to me, it feels quite natural to get the specific skill that you need and bring it into the project.
Yeah, you have these two, almost looks like wires that come up over the shoulder from the front to the back. It looks like not wires, but it looks like those, you see those two like black harnesses almost that come up over the shoulder. What are those, just straps, or do they serve some type of purpose?
No, they actually have a purpose. The thing is, you have the board which is behind the vest. This board, so I don't know if you can see it properly on the screen.
Yeah, we'll bring up the big picture here. They'll get a better shot.
It's not too dark. Okay, so you have basically the card which is behind the vest. This card will drive all the actuators across the vest, and the actuators are wired obviously to the card. The thing is, since the vest is made with 3 different parts, so you have the back and 2 parts for the front and the sides.
Right.
You still need to connect the actuator to the vest. So the other parts are actually connected to the vest using those. Sorry, you can't see them. Using those wires protections.
There's cables in there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But over here, since we wanted to make it more adjustable for any kind of size, the thing is, we can't really sure
no
how
connection there.
we need to put them. So there is no wire here. Everything goes on the top.
I gotcha.
That's so smart, right? Because you're gonna have bigger people that are gonna want to wear this thing, man, and not everybody has the same body type. So it's great that you can you do that where you're gonna be able to fit most people into here.
I think that there will be less change with all the morphologies. There will be less size change around the neck. That's why they did that, I think.
Yeah. Todd, you were going to ask something before I.
Yeah, cool. Well, touching back on the design aspect, including these costume designers, you've included like a mesh removable insert. Is that something that is easily removable and I'm assuming washable?
Removable mesh inside. The point is to basically allow people to remove it and wash it because one drawback of haptic is that you need to wear it so you can get hot in it, especially if you do like very active games
like workouts.
So it's better to have something that you can actually remove.
And it's machine washable. You can just throw it in the wash.
Yeah,
it's great. You gotta have something. You gotta have something like that. Yeah.
I haven't tried personally, but that's that would be the purpose.
Send me the liner. I'll wash it for you.
Yeah.
I just have to put the vest in the box with the liner, and I'll just check that out too. When I'm at it.
No problem. No problem.
So one of the things that I loved about it, I love that it's a full vest. Okay, there are some vests out there that are like a half vest, and just for a taller person, I don't think it's enough. This is a full vest. It's only one. Again, it's just one style right now. So it's a full vest. It fits very well. It fits comfortable. I had no issues wearing it at all. I love that it has 20 actuators. Now we'll talk a little bit about the actuators now. Now, originally, I think when I was at the show, I think I kind of said it in some of the things I was saying. I thought there was only 16 originally because I think that's the number they were saying, which was 16. But there's 16 of one type of actuator and 4 of a different. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so indeed there are 20 actuators in the vest. So you have 16 smaller actuators, just like this one. So here you have a PCB, but the actuator is only the black part. And then there are 4 actuators like this one, which are way bigger.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
So the idea basically is that, since the vest can fit a lot of morphology, the thing is, what matters is to have actuators around the torso, and with the right processing, the right way to spatialize an effect on the vest, you can actually make some movement around the user and make an effect move across the vest. And what matters is that every actuator looks the same, have the same output. So what we tend to do is inhibit those big actuators to only have something similar on the small one. And whenever we play the effect across the vest, we will have like something which will feel mostly continuous across the body. But at some point, we might want to have some effect which is stronger than the others. That's why we also have 4 very bigger actuators. Those are positioned over here and below the arm, which are 2 very sensitive area for the body. So whenever we want to have something more strong for some reason, I don't know, you've been killed in the game or something like this, we can output way more power in those to make the effect more intense.
I kind of have a video from your press kit that kind of explains where they are and gives you a visual on how they interact. So I'm just going to launch that up here quick.
Yeah.
And you can see where they're situated inside the vest.
Yeah, and I'll say too, you don't feel any of this in the vest. So those actuators, I mean, especially the big ones, look very large, but you don't feel any of that. They're inside the vest itself. It's not like it's sticking out or you feel it or it's poking you in any way. It's inside the padding. It's so cool because you don't feel it at all. Really, you don't. When I put the vest on, and the vest, I tried to have it as tight to my body as I could when I was in it. I didn't feel them at all.
You didn't feel all these things poking in you all over.
Felt like a completely smooth vest on the inside, which was amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So one of the effects that what you're just talking about, I want to talk about a little bit because I have a haptic vest I use all the time, and one of the spots where I never get any sensation is down the side of my body. Everything is either on the front or it's on the back. This I felt, and I think I talked about it that night we did our show at GDC. I had done it that day. I was like, I actually felt haptics like almost under my arms. It was like on the side of my body, in a spot where you would just never normally feel haptics in any kind of other haptic vest. So I was really, really impressed with that, because with only 20 actuators, there are other haptics vests out there that have more actuators, and I've tried them. But here, I had the feeling or the sensation that I actually had either as much or more, vibration in this suit with 20 actuators that I did with, say, a suit that had double that number or more than that number.
Yeah. Well, since below the arm are really sensitive parts, it would make sense to actually put some actuators here. And thing is, there are only 2 of them below the arm, and this is plenty sufficient to create some sensation, which seems to be like really covering the whole body that you have.
Yeah, could you have a little demonstration, I think, on a video that you
Yeah.
can show us some of the way the actuators go off and around you, right?
Yeah. So I should have a small example here. So yeah, I'll just try to. So here we just have like, it's a very basic example where you have like all the actuators, so you can see them around the vest. There are the 20 actuators, and what we want here is to spatialize an effect around the vest to make the person feel that the effect is actually moving. So here we have a sphere which is moving around the vest, and whenever some actuators are facing the sphere, you can see that the intensity of the actuator is increasing. So here what we do is control the raw intensity, compute it in real time to make the movement, the flow as smooth as possible.
The sensation then is that the whole vest is one giant haptic instead of having individual vibrations.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll flow. Yeah, it'll flow around you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Basically, the idea is to, well, in research, it's called apparent movement. When you have like 2 actuators with exactly the same vibration, but with different intensity, by shifting the weight from one actuator to the other, you can actually create movement cessation between the 2 actuators. So basically, we are doing this here, but with not just 2 actuators, but 20 of them.
So basically, the amount of control that you seem to have over these actuators, it's not just that you turn an actuator on and off and it has one intensity. You have different intensities or feelings that you can get from each actuator?
When we want to render something on the vest, there are 2 aspects. The one is the vibration itself, what kind of sensation the vibration should convey. And the second one is the spatialization. It's basically how you use several actuators to make a motion across the vest. So yeah, here we have a full control of the vibration. I try to compare it to something that might be more easy to understand. When you hear some music, basically what you are hearing is the vibration of the air. And when you have several instruments, whenever someone is hitting the drum or hitting the chords of the guitar, all of those instruments will produce a lot of vibrations. And you can have one note or the other, which will be 2 vibrations with 2 different frequency. And if you have more vibration at the same time, for example, on a piano, when the person is hitting several keys simultaneously, you will hear a sound which will be very rich with a lot of vibration within it. And basically here we are doing exactly the same thing, because those actuators are producing vibrations which is similar to sound. The main difference is that the sound that you are used to is in a range of frequency that your ear can actually hear. But those actuators produce sound that is in a much lower range of frequency, lower enough so that it's not your ear that will hear it, it's your skin, the mechanoreceptor within your skin, which will be able to sense them.
So by changing the frequency, you can change the level of intensity?
No, we can actually control the two simultaneously. What I mean is
okay.
that we can compose a sound
cool.
for the skin. We can compose a sound, and each part of the sound has different intensity. We have a full control of the frequency and the intensity. So the thing is if we have a very complex signal that we want to render on the actuator, we can render the signal with and just change the volume of the overall signal. So if I have the two actuators here and I play this complex signal here, I can actually have the same signal here, play on the second actuator, but with a much lower volume, overall volume, just like you change the volume of your headset.
Mhm.
Perhaps you've already heard in some song a tunes going from one ear to the other.
Yep.
That's the exact same idea here. We're having a very complex vibration on one actuator, and by changing the volume and playing the same vibration on the two, but with different volume, we can create some motion between the two.
That
That's
is
cool.
amazing. I mean,
That's
the
cool.
the level of detail that you have with these actuators now is crazy. It's amazing what we're able to do with haptics now, and I absolutely love it. Let's move on. Let's talk about a few things on connectivity with this vest. So, tell us right now how if we have a VR headset, and we have PC VR. So it's a PC VR headset, say like the Valve Index or the Vive. How are we connecting the vest with the headset?
Basically, it's speakers for the skin, but we have 20 speakers here. So this vest is actually a sound device. But
Cool.
well, I mean,
That's cool.
everybody wants to have something wireless, even us, because it's more interesting. We can do we have less restriction when it's wireless. So
Right.
we are also currently working on a wireless solution, which will still expose the device as an audio device. So basically, it will be like a dongle that you plug to your computer, and this dongle will be connected to the vest and send all the data to the
So
vest.
you need the dongle to basically to bring that data to the computer, which is great. This is news that we have not previously known before. As far as I knew, as recently as GDC, this was going to be a wired only haptic vest, and so now what you're basically telling us is you guys have currently right now in place a wireless solution.
Well, we don't have currently right now in place because we are working on it, but the solution is feasible, and so it's just a matter of time that before we actually have it working.
Yeah, so basically, by the time you're ready to ship your Kickstarters, you'll have it ready. So
Exactly.
it's something you can currently purchase on your Kickstarter right now. So you
Yep.
guys are pretty much confident you're going to have it ready for launch.
Yeah.
Okay, so on your website, and we talked a little bit earlier, it talks about motion integration with the Vive tracker. Can you tell me how that works and what that looks like?
Yep. So the vest in itself doesn't have any tracking system embedded. However, we do provide, well, we do have a solution to allows people to track it using any external tracking system. So here I do have an example for the Vive tracker. Basically, when you have a Vive tracker, you can hold it in place with a simple screw. So we have this here, and we can just put it behind the cord, and by screwing it, we can keep the Vive tracker in place. It holds
Cool.
the tracker pretty light, and can actually be used for something else if you have it. I mean, if you don't want to use a Vive tracker but use another one like the Tundra or something else, you can actually do it. The thing is, you have a fixed place on the vest where you can put your tracking system, and this would allow you to have the real position and orientation of the vest. Since it's the same anchor for all vests, if someone do the initial positioning and orientation offset for a specific application, it will work for anybody.
Okay, so Todd was just talking about the Vive tracker that you can attach onto the back of your vest. Why would you do that, or why? What would you guys hope to accomplish with having that Vive tracker on there?
When interaction happens in VR, we want to have an effect playing on the vest, but at the right location. And by putting an external tracking system on the vest, you are able to separate the head from the body. And by doing so, if you get hit somewhere, the interaction is specialized body-based and not head-based. This can actually have some, well, could actually be very important, for example, in shooting games. If someone shoots at you on the side, and you basically, at the instant you were shot, you were looking on your side of your body. If you get shot from this direction, if the effect is head-based, you will feel the vibration on the side of your body. Whereas what actually happened is that the shot came from in front of you, just that your head was turned. So you would need to have the vibration, well, the effect rendered on the front of your body. By separating the head from the torso, you are allowed to actually spatialize the interaction, how they actually happen to your body and not to the head. And this is actually this is very important. It's not mandatory, meaning that in a lot of cases, you don't necessarily need to have a feedback on the vest. But for some application, it might be mandatory. For example, in the demo that you tried, there was the rain. The rain came from above, and whenever you were moving around from binding forward or backward, you would be able to feel the rain going from the torso to the back to the back in a kind of smooth with a smooth transition. And this was only possible because the torso was actually tracked. If we were doing this only for the head, you basically, whenever you would just look somewhere else, looking up, for example, you would feel the rain on the torso, even if you were still standing still.
Okay, so on Monday, March 28th, you guys made an announcement about interconnectivity with the Quest 2 headset. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Currently with our native solution, we are not compatible with the Meta Quest, at least for now. But we will do a partnership with ProTubeVR to develop an alternative solution, which will be able to drive their device and our device simultaneously in a native way. I can't give you more details right now because things are not all been defined completely, and I'm not necessarily allowed to give more details. But yeah, we'll definitely work on something which will be compatible with any kind of autonomous headset.
This is huge news, though. I mean, we don't really need to know exactly how you're going to do it, but just the fact, number one, that you're in it and you're doing it, and the fact, too, that you've partnered with a huge company that everybody knows in the virtual reality industry, which is ProTube, is big news in itself. And it sounds like you guys really have something going here that really could change the way that a standalone Quest 2 user can handle haptics in the future. So we'll definitely keep everybody updated on exactly how that is going to move along.
Like kind of the games that you have. I have a list here of games that you're advertising as compatible with. I have a little image here that we can pull up. Half-Life Alyx, Pavlov VR, Propagation VR. We got Blade and Sorcery, Sniper Elite, which is one of my favorite games. Boneworks, Pistol Whip, Zero Caliber, Ragnarok, and Onward. Like those are all great games. Yeah. And I'm sure the list is growing.
Basically those games already handle either natively or through a mode. They already handle other vests for VR. So we can actually use those modes and those native integration to drive our vest. We will provide a tool which will do the translation from the way it was implemented to how to drive the vest. And it shouldn't be more difficult as how it already works.
So that's what you guys have set pretty much right now. By the time you launch, I would assume you'll probably have even more available.
Yeah, definitely. We will try more stuff and make sure it works with as more game as possible.
And I also noticed on your Kickstarter page, it talks about media with automated sound with haptic effects. So you can do films, flat games, music, pretty much anything that can drive this audio device.
Yeah,
it'll work with.
yeah, exactly. As you said, it's an audio device. So the vest has 20 actuator, 20 speaker. It's an exposed as an audio device. So basically, anybody who want to use their own knowledge and their own software, audio software, for example, they can actually use whatever they want and drive the vest along.
Yeah, you could sit in your movie theater at home and watch a movie with the vest on.
That's something someone can actually work. That's something someone can actually do as long as he has what he needs to drive the vest. Modders are in general very curious people, and they try to do a lot of stuff, and a lot of great things comes from the modding community. So by
Sure.
giving them as much as possible liberty and tools, we believe that they can actually do very interesting and crazy stuff. We provide a free version of a haptic engine, the Unitouch Engine Lite, which allows to take control of the vest and play some haptic track on the vest.
Cool.
That's exactly what we use for the mode for After Effects, and so we will provide this software for free, and we will also provide the source code of the mode we develop for After Effects, so that people will actually have an example of how to use the vest, how to drive it, how to send data to it in a easy. The tool is quite easy to handle as long as you know how to code. And
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge point because I agree with you 100%. The modding community is really what drives a lot of the innovation that we see in a lot of the VR world that we're in. A lot of companies, they'll bring out a product, and then the modding community will take what is given to them, and they will really start to cultivate it and make it something
Yeah.
special and give us more content. So just you guys giving them the software that they need, the tools that they need to do this is a big step in making haptics, pretty much a regular thing that we should all be using every day. So we
Yeah, it's
need
going to
that
become
modding community.
mainstream.
Yeah, we need the modding community. You're absolutely right. And they do. They really drive a lot of what we do. So I think it's amazing that you guys are doing that.
I think that in the future, in several years, when the skills of VR developer will increase, the way VR games will be designed will be quite different from today. Today, we are only relying on tracking the hand and the head, but perhaps in 2 or 3 years from now, since full body tracking will be more common, it's not impossible that all the game would integrate full body tracking and inverse kinematics in order to allows people to have more immersion. Not more immersion, but have a stronger representation of their own body in the virtual environment.
What you just said
amazing,
here in
though.
what you just said here in this last statement that you're talking about, two things. I can see the passion that you have for
That's right.
haptics when you say that, and number two, just listening to where you have a vision of where haptics will go in the next 3 to 5 years excites me. It gets me excited for virtual reality. It gets me
Yeah.
excited for haptics. And when somebody like you, a creative person like you, gets excited about a project, that makes me happy because in the end run, it's me and people like me that get to benefit from it. So that's amazing. Xavier, let me just say this. Thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your Sunday to join us and give us all this information that, guys, I'm telling you, this was one of the best tech demos that I had at GDC. It was the best tech demo I had at GDC of a piece of haptics material, and there was a lot of stuff there. This one blew me away. This is the one that I followed up with, and I wanted to make sure that we talked to you more because I think it's something that we all need to look at. Go to the Kickstarter, take a look at it, see if this is something you're interested in doing. If it is, pledge some money to these guys because I think they definitely deserve it. They have something here. I think they do have something special. We're going to continue to work with them as Q2C VR Gamer, and we'll be working with them until they launch and taking a look at it. And hopefully we can bring some more stuff to you guys. Again, Xavier, thank you so much, man.
Well, pleasure was mine, and thank you for the interest that you have in our technology and giving us the chance to actually answer your question. And I hope I was as precise as possible.
Yeah, you gave us a ton of information, and just absorbing it all is going to take me a few days, but it's exciting to hear the news that you have, and where you see the future of VR going is exciting.
Absolutely.